What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Crypto Bobby. I hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you're watching or listening in from. And welcome to $8,000 Bitcoin. And you're probably having a damn good day if you have any money in Bitcoin right now. Maybe not as good of a day if you have been heavy in the shitcoin game. But want to hang out a little bit here on Crypto Happy Hour, talk a little bit about what's happening, obviously answer your questions, hang out for a bit on this awful, disgusting, rainy Monday in New York City, home of blockchain week right now, and probably some of the reason or some of the proposed reason why the crypto market is pumping through the roof right now. Just making sure everything is good to go on the chat here. Like we are all good to go. What is up? James, what's up? Glenda, what's up? Jizzy Mac, Garrett, what's going on, folks? And in the past, it has been tradition that every time I go live, the market absolutely shits the bed. But I don't even think I could jinx that right now. I mean, I've shaved the face, so I think we're pretty much good to go there. We're in a, it's not Bobby Bear Market Beard anymore. It's Bobby Shave Face. I don't even know. That doesn't rhyme at all. But we got to go for it. M. Alex, you suck. Thanks, buddy. You suck more. So does your mom. And so yeah, we can pop into that. So Steven says we'll get it started right now. There's something much bigger than blockchain week going on right now, Bobby. And thank you very much for that super chat, Tedis. So yeah, there is a bunch of different theories around what's happening with the price of Bitcoin at this given time, and I don't really think anybody specifically knows what to attribute it to. Is it right now the fact that the equities markets, the Dow has plunged 600 points and Bitcoin is now a safe haven asset? Is it because people are now excited about Bakkt starting to test in July? Is it because Bitfinex apparently raised $1 billion in their token sale? Is it because eBay is now accepting cryptocurrency? There's like 50 different messages right now, 50 different things that are happening, and everybody wants to attribute one thing to Bitcoin, the other thing to Bitcoin, whatever it might be. All that really matters right now is the price of Bitcoin is going through the freaking roof. So we can attribute it to whatever we want to, we can attribute it to whatever we want to say. You can credit what's happening with Bitcoin to anything, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. What it does mean is that Bitcoin is moving in a very ridiculously positive direction right now. We're up, as of the time of watching this right now, to $8,100, which is freaking nuts from where we were. It's a $1,000 Bitcoin candle day, which is pretty incredible to see. And taking a look at some of these, chats, and it is pretty funny, Eric. So that's one thing that's been kind of enjoyable to see is that, Eric says, this is comical, all the noobs coming out of the woodwork. I don't know about noobs coming out of the woodwork at all. And if you've been gone for a while or, have bought crypto and decided to not be a fan of having your Bitcoin or your crypto assets kind of shit the bed, and now things are going up and you want to, kind of revel in that I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Kind of funny to see a lot of the big Twitter accounts and people like that all of a sudden hopping back in it though, which is I don't really have to call anybody out. I think when you look at the people that are just kind of jumping back in, redrawing their parabolic lines and going on to their day, who knows? So there's a solid question, Menno PP. So this is something that I think is worth discussing. Paul Lindsay, Bitcoin is back until my. What's up, Paul? Good to see you. Good to see you back. It's been a while, been a minute. This is something that I think is worth taking a look at, because right now, if we go over to on-chain FX and we're looking at the 24-hour versus 24-hour of cryptocurrencies in USD versus 24-hour versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin is kicking the living out of everything. Just across the board, Bitcoin is up. If we actually refresh this, because it's probably up a bit since then, Bitcoin is up, over 10% against USD in the past 24 hours. Everything else, for the most part, minus BNB, in the top 10 in the top 20 is down pretty substantially against Bitcoin. Not much is keeping pace with Bitcoin's move at all. You would be very much in a very good. if you are 100% in Bitcoin right now, you are basically in a significantly better situation than you would have been, or you would be if you have your money or all of your money, part of your money in altcoins. Most of my portfolio is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Ethereum has not kept pace with Bitcoin. I would have been better off in Bitcoin, but it's still not the worst place to be. The shittiest of the shitcoins have not performed well at all. But what is worth looking at right now, at least in my mind, is the market capitalization and the just percentage of Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is typically something that I think is not always the best metric to look at least when you're looking at Bitcoin dominance just dropping. But when you're looking at Bitcoin dominance moving up, this is what's really interesting, because we are back now. If we zoom in between 20, we can put this in the large screen here, but if we zoom in between like July 2017 and July 2017 and now, Bitcoin dominance is at about 60%, a little bit over 60% of the entire market, which is very strong. We have not seen that. We have not seen 60% Bitcoin dominance since December of 2017, or December of 2017, when Bitcoin went on its incredible run from $5,000 all the way up to $20,000. And then following that, when you saw Bitcoin dominance really peaking at that 65%, that's when Bitcoin started to sell off, and a lot of that money flowed into altcoins. The question is, will the same thing happen again? And you have kind of people on both sides of the story here, where a lot of people are saying institutional money is going to Bitcoin. Nobody's ever going to buy these shitcoins again. Nobody's ever going to touch them. But I'm really of a different opinion. I think that, obviously I have the most confidence in Bitcoin as a long-term asset, but when I look at a lot of individuals investing in the space, they don't necessarily care about, store of value. They don't necessarily care about, the hard money that Bitcoin is. They're trying to get rich. And when you see Bitcoin pumping up substantially, the natural human inclination is to look at things and say, what is the next Bitcoin? I don't want to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin just went up 100%. I want to buy the next Bitcoin. Well, what is the next Bitcoin? And you start looking at CoinMarketCap and going down the list and going down the list. And yes, that's what's happened in the past. Does that necessarily guarantee it's going to happen again in the future? Absolutely not. I don't know if it will. I have no clue if that will. Personally, I am betting that it will, and I'm kind of scaling some of my money into altcoins out of Bitcoin as we continue to make this crazy move up. But it has been awesome to see Bitcoin really leading the way. But that has been part of the cycle in the past, is Bitcoin leads up, all of the liquidity flows through Bitcoin. And once the kind of larger players start to take profits out of Bitcoin, a lot of times they'll look at depressed altcoins and pump up the volume there and then turn that into more Bitcoin in the future. So taking a look at some of these questions here, we're now closer to 10K than we are to 6K. That is true. That is true. What's up, old school gamer Rick? Did I eat a buffalo chicken wrap recently? I did not eat any buffalo chicken wraps recently, unfortunately. But hey, man, tonight might be the time to celebrate that. So, and I'm actually I'm in New York I live in New York, but I am in New York. And going to Consensus tomorrow. I'm actually speaking briefly on a panel there. So we'll definitely let you folks know just kind of how things go in general with what happens at Consensus. But seems to be the feeling this year is much more positive than it was in 2018. I think 2018 was kind of peak hype, but a lot of people were looking at things on the downturn. And this year is very much people kind of having similar feelings and thoughts to 2017. I don't think that obviously Consensus is the reason that this is pumping by any stretch, or the single solitary reason why it's moving up, but it is interesting to have really all of the blockchain talent and players in the space kind of all collected in one area, which is always fun to see. It hasn't been happy in crypto happy hour hasn't been happy for quite some time. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying that. So yeah, we're still above, not even 8,000. We're above 8,150, which is pretty crazy to watch. And yeah, like somebody said, that is, again, primarily, at least this is the XBT to USD, the BitMEX perpetual swaps. But ETH has not kept ETH has not kept pace at all. And what'll be interesting to watch too is, typically, I think, at least in my opinion, when you're looking at Bitcoin running, one of the places that what typically happens with these cycles, if it does play out like it has in the past, and again, the past is no absolute indication of what will happen in the future, but typically what's happened in the past is you'll see Bitcoin have a crazy move like this, and then money will flow from Bitcoin to some of the larger cap cryptocurrencies that are directly tradable against it, or more liquid against Bitcoin rather than the really small shitty ones. And those will move up in a pretty substantial fashion, and then that will kind of trickle down to the smaller and smaller ones. But Bitcoin definitely leads the way. What'll be interesting to see here too, at least in my mind, is if Bitcoin does pull back. Is it the type of situation here where we have Bitcoin pumps, alt stump, Bitcoin dumps, alt stump too? Or will that money actually flow? Will the profits that people have been seeing in the past few weeks, will those be moved into other cryptocurrencies, or will those be moved to fiat or fiat derivatives like stablecoins? So Jonathan Cornish, really good question, and this is another one from the kind of list. We can dive into really all these news stories as well. There are a lot of different news stories that people are talking about, and for those of you again who don't kind of have to live in this space full time or have taken a break, one of the things that is almost frustrating now with consensus is everybody waits until consensus week. I don't even know why too, but everybody waits until this week to announce news. So there is just an overflow of cryptocurrency news, which is great, but a lot of stuff gets lost in the mix. One of the big stories, though, was this information with Gemini. So if we pull this up, where is it? This is also... So first thing, Spedin, is that what we're calling this? Is this supposed to be like a joke on Bildle and or Hodl? Like we gotta stop doing the D before the last letter. It's the worst thing in the world. Please, for the love of God, this is the dumbest name ever. So I'm sorry. This could be cool, but Spedin is or Speedin. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Just give me something that I can actually pronounce. Come on, Gemini. Come on, Flexa. But getting into it, this was something that a lot of people are excited about. Gemini has partnered up with a company, Flexa, and they are releasing a non-custodial crypto wallet, which allows users to spend, as of CoinDesk and Liquid, to spend Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, or GUSD at a variety of brick and mortar stores. So apparently you can spend cryptocurrency at Nordstrom, Barnes & Noble, I believe Starbucks is one of them, GameStop, a few other places as well. The one thing that I think is an issue with this, obviously the more of this, I guess, the better. That's, it's never bad to say, there's more utility that you can have with Bitcoin and with other cryptocurrencies, be it Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and GUSD, Gemini's USD-based stablecoin. At least in the United States, though, paying for things with crypto is, if you're accurately reporting your cryptocurrency kind of utilization, everything is a taxable event. So if you go to, do you really want to, if you are, I'm not saying you have to, that's again, always on you. But if you are accurately reporting your cryptocurrency and you want to go buy a freaking peanut butter protein shake at Jamba Juice with the new Spendin app, or Speedin app, or whatever we're calling it here, if you want to go buy a peanut butter protein shake at Jamba Juice, you're going to have to report that to the IRS, which is kind of shitty. So that's one of the big hurdles too, as far as Bitcoin and cryptocurrency adoption from a transactional perspective, because the tax laws in the United States are not such that they make a ton of sense for cryptocurrency right now. Shout out to the folks at Coin Center who are having their annual gala dinner tonight in New York. They are working on that, and they're trying to put in thresholds. So if you spend under a few $100s, you don't have to report that to the IRS. But until then, until Coin Center leads the way and fixes that, it's kind of a frustrating aspect, and I think it will hold back companies that try to do retail adoption for cryptocurrency. Trying to take a look at these chats. And this is also something too. So this is another point as well. We have Binance tomorrow. See if we can pull this bad boy up. This is something that I'm keeping an eye on for just generally speaking what is going on with altcoins as well. So if we can pull up the news here, let's see. Security breach. So Binance is planning to reopen withdrawals and deposits tomorrow. Altcoins right now, as has been mentioned numerous times in the chat, altcoins are getting smoked against Bitcoin, like absolutely smoked across the board. Unless you are like 1 in a million altcoins right now, you're getting smoked if you're not in Bitcoin, or you're not making much money. And this is something, obviously, the Binance hack happened. They shut down withdrawals and deposits. Liquidity for a lot of these altcoins has not been, maybe not been as great as one might typically see. One theory that's being played around with right now is that you are looking at people who see the depressed altcoin prices, have just seen the value of their Bitcoin skyrocket, and have not been able to deposit their Bitcoin into Binance to buy those shitcoins. So what happens if those people can deposit their Bitcoin in to buy those, very low value now, depressed altcoins? Theoretically, that would pump up the price of Bitcoin and potentially lead to some type of altcoin rally. Is that going to happen? I don't know. It seems like a lot of people expect it to happen, which kind of makes me slightly skeptical, but it'll be worth watching, and it will be definitely worth keeping an eye on what happens when Binance does re-enable withdrawals and deposits, because they are, in my opinion, really by far the most liquid altcoin exchange in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So the fact that people haven't been able to withdraw and deposit there, yes, if you've had cryptocurrency on Binance, you've been okay, you've been able to trade it, but that is something like that's something that you should definitely keep an eye on, at least in my opinion. Everyone balances 69 likes. Nice. Nice. And if you're watching right now on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and shout out to the homies on Twitch and Periscope as well. I think it doesn't actually work anymore. But shout out to the homies that are watching on Twitch and Periscope. But if you're watching on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe it'll just continue to have the price of Bitcoin running. Who knows? Probably not, but. Rouge, is securities law going to allow future tokenized securities? So tokenized securities are already allowed. Tokenized securities are simply securities that are wrapped in a digital. They're basically digitally wrapped securities. So I think that as far as securities laws go, tokenized securities are fitting into exactly what is happening. Tokenized securities are basically fitting into the existing framework that the ecosystem already has. Salvatore, what's up, brother? When consensus pump? I think you're seeing it right now, man. Thank you for that super chat. But hopefully you made that $2 back in the consensus pump. So in the consensus pump so far. Robert Adams, thoughts on the Polymath Cardano partnership? So this is something that came out as well. Saw this in CoinDesk. I haven't gotten a chance to see the full kind of tech behind it. There's a few guys on the Polymath team that I like quite a bit. The one thing that I will say is that it sounds like, so this was the kind of portion that they looked at. Let me see here. So Polymath is creating their own blockchain or their own platform, I believe, specifically for security tokens, and it's going to be purpose built for that. There was one aspect where they talked a little bit about the compliance, and that being the biggest issue. I don't know if this is the same article or not. I don't know. So there was one article that talked about this where they said that they haven't had. Okay, here we go. Polymath security token platform has supported the launch of 100 different security tokens. One of those security tokens included in that is actually mine. to Buffalo Chicken Coin. I haven't issued it to anybody, but it will go to the moon. So keep an eye on Buffalo Chicken Coin. It'll be a big one. It'll be a big one. But they said, as such, developers working on Polymath. Where are we at? Nope. There was one portion where they talked about compliance with. Oh, okay. They say compliance with regulators is one reason why that they think that the adoption is low compared to the rest of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. And I would actually, I think, debate that point. I don't think that adoption of security tokens is low because of compliance. I think compliance right now, there are tools to build compliance into security tokens. Securitize has done a good job. I think even Polymath right now, I know with AirSwap's parent company, Fluidity, we're doing some things with security tokens, and compliance isn't the selling point. What people need to focus on with security tokens is the actual quality of the assets. You're buying a real asset. You're not buying a shitcoin. So you should expect compliance. And somebody said this recently, I forget who the quote was from, but they basically said, a selling point of security tokens shouldn't be that, you're not breaking the law. That should just be assumed. XRP the standard, as always. XRP has been one that's been getting hit and smoked pretty good compared to XRP has gotten smoked pretty hard. It is back. XRP is back to where it was when previously to the, I forget the Ripple conference, the Swell conference. XRP ran real hard going to the Swell conference, and it has retraced the entire way, at least against Bitcoin. So like from the peak of that Swell conference, it's down like 50% against Bitcoin. But yeah, basically everything across the board. I mean, ETH BTC is pretty much at lows. ETH BTC is basically at the lows that we saw previously. If you're looking here, it's probably not super visible, but if we're looking here with ETH BTC, we are looking at the similar level to what we saw prior to the 300% move that ETH had against Bitcoin in December 2017. So again, the past is not always an indicator of what's going to happen in the future, but I wouldn't doubt if we start to see a little bit of relief and some profit taking from Bitcoin from the people that have been accumulating under $4,000 into other cryptocurrencies. What's up, BTC Kyle? Thanks so much for that super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and for anybody who missed, I had some interviews. I was at the Fluidity Summit and I actually had a professional videographer, so my video didn't look like shit, which was pretty awesome. And the audio worked, even though a lot of people commented on a long, skinny microphone that may or may not have looked like something else. So that I'm not going to comment on the microphone structure itself, but I have another video of that, or I have a bunch of more content from that. I interviewed the CEO, Alex Warren, the CEO of Aurora, IDEX, somebody from Max from Dharma, and a number of other people, the guys from Alpine Intel that I've had in the channel a few different times. So yeah, it'll be a good video there. The mic was the best part. I appreciate that. So I think that's James. I think that's honestly that's the big question right now, right? So James's question is, you think alts have a chance to rise during this run? And that's the major question that I think a lot of people are looking about and thinking about too, at least the shitcoiners, or just people that are looking to increase their stack in Bitcoin, whatever it might be. If you are just a straight Bitcoin maximalist, or if you are somebody that is, just doesn't really care that much and you're just trying to make as much money as possible, then it's worth considering. It's worth looking at the overall cycle of how some of these assets move. And I personally, I was having an interesting conversation with somebody, and we're kind of in one of these private Telegram groups going back and forth. And there is Dan Held, who is one of my one of my favorite guys in the Bitcoin space. I've had him on the podcast before. He was kind of providing the counter argument to my thought process of, this has happened before. It's probably going to happen again. We're probably going to see some type of an altcoin run again because people are going to take profits from Bitcoin and put them into shitcoins and try to grow their Bitcoin stack. And then you're going to see that fervor again. And, he provided the counter argument that no, that's not going to happen. I think that, people have gotten burned from this in the past. And this is to the point of people getting burned from crypto or burned from buying shitcoins in the past. I would say this too. So here's a good analogy. You go out and I'm sure there are a lot of people that bought shitcoins and, other cryptocurrency in December of 2017, 2018. Their friends told them to, or their friends were like, yo, I just made a bunch of money. You need to hop in this train, go on Coinbase, go on Binance, do this, do that. And things didn't go so well for those individuals. Now, I'm sure a lot of those folks look at that and say, hey, I'm never buying cryptocurrency again. I'm never buying cryptocurrency again. However, when you look at like how many times, and you guys can be honest with me, how many times have you gone out on a Saturday night, had too much to drink, you wake up on Sunday and you want to die, your head is pounding, and you're like, you know what? This is it. I'm never drinking again. It's never happening again. And I'm never touching alcohol. I'm never touching whiskey. It's done. It's done. It's done. Then like Monday or Tuesday comes around and you have one idiot friend who's like, hey man, I'm going to this bar. It's going to be sweet. We're going to have a good time. And you're like, you know what? Well, it can't hurt. And then the next day, it's the same problem all over again. That's human nature, I think. And because of the way that people value cryptocurrencies in these markets, a lot of it still depends on human nature. A lot of it is at this point in time very much focused on just human psychology more so than anything else, I think. And that's kind of the way I look at some of these aspects. Obviously, you can get a lot more in depth in the analysis of where to put things and kind of how to focus on a lot of it, but that would be kind of the one counter argument I'd say is, people have learned their lesson and they're clearly seeing that Bitcoin is the future and it is the best asset to put your money in. I am not going to disagree at all. I think if you want to keep your money in a single asset for any period of time, Bitcoin is the move. I wouldn't doubt that for a second. I very much think that, and to that point too, if you're trading against Bitcoin or if you're trading cryptocurrency, I think you should be trading with the goal to outperform Bitcoin. Most people probably can't do that. Most people are probably going to lose their money trying to outperform Bitcoin, but that should be the goal, because if you can't outperform Bitcoin, you're just better off holding Bitcoin. So, and so here are the questions too. So what's up, Jonathan Sanchez? Where to invest $1,000 right now? This is from your friendly, not your financial advisor, Crypto Bobby. Again, your friendly, not financial advisor, Crypto Bobby. I think, as always, you should dollar cost average your money in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has just pulled a 2x in the course of a month, maybe 5 weeks or so. Bitcoin is up over 100%. Is it incredibly wise to dump $1,000 into Bitcoin right now? Probably not. Could it continue to run up until 10K maybe? Yeah, maybe. Could it also pull back right now to 68, 6,500, something like that? Yeah, so do what probably the best move is to dollar cost average. Take $100, put it in today. Take $100, put it in a few days. Do it every week. Do whatever you want to do, but just dollar cost average it. That's probably the best way to do things. If you've never played around with crypto at all in your life before, I would say stick to Bitcoin until you actually figure out how the hell things work before you venture off into the land of shitcoinery. Just gamble it all on Funfair. So that's an interesting point there. JG says manipulation on steroids here. No, BNB, Binance hack, Tether, Bitfinex. So it's interesting because I think the tendency with cryptocurrency is anytime there is a move, people attribute that move to manipulation. Goes up, it's manipulation. It goes down, it's manipulation. And I'm sure there's manipulation regardless. I think that it is becoming more difficult. And I'm saying more in comparison to the past. I still don't think it's impossible by any stretch to manipulate the cryptocurrency markets, but I still think that it's becoming harder and harder to manipulate the cryptocurrency markets over time as this industry becomes, I would say, more legitimized. But I don't think this is necessarily free from manipulation. I don't know what to attribute. It's impossible. I think it's really a fool's errand to try to attribute Bitcoin moves and cryptocurrency moves to specific instances. Whether it's the Bitfinex, IEO, like I said before, for those who haven't been around, there's a million different things that people have been attributing the cryptocurrency moves to today. Whether it's backed, people all of a sudden thought backed was launching, even though they're just launching user acceptance testing in July. People attributed it to the Bitfinex private sale. People said that because eBay has advertisements at Consensus that they're going to accept Bitcoin. I don't really know. I don't think that's necessarily I'm pretty sure this was about advertising for cryptocurrency on eBay somehow, but I don't get that use case really at all. And then you had the Dow plunging because of issues with China, higher tariffs, this trade war between the United States and China, uncertainty there. So people are talking about that as, number one, a capital flight from China if people wanted, also as a kind of a hedge against the economic uncertainty. And I saw a lot of people too tweeting about that today, of saying, Bitcoin is now proven. Bitcoin is proven because of today. Bitcoin is proven to be an uncorrelated asset. And yes, Bitcoin performed very well today, obviously, while the Dow plunged 600 points. That doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin is an uncorrelated asset. Let's get a bigger data point than one day, because Bitcoin has previously run substantially while the rest of the market, while the rest of the equities markets have run substantially during pretty much one of the greatest bull runs. Almost like a 10-year plus bull run for traditional markets. So I want to see a larger sample size before I start crowning Bitcoin and crowning cryptocurrency as this fantastic hedge against the uncertain economic doom of the world. What's up, Any Ghost? Yo, Bobby, can you pour one out for my dying altcoin bags, brother? I'm hurting over here. Yeah, the altcoin bags are getting smoked. The one bit of hopium where you can just throw it in your pipe and light it up is what I was talking about before. The pump of, or the where we're at in the total market capitalization. If you want to get real hopium, if you want to start saying it's about to be alt season, this is the first time in about a year and a half we've seen 60% Bitcoin dominance. The last time we saw 60% Bitcoin dominance, or the last time we saw 65% Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance dropped all the way down to 33%. And basically every altcoin on the planet pulled a 5 to 10 plus X. So if you want to get your big bag of hopium, that's that. Does the past necessarily guarantee the future? Absolutely not. But that's your daily dose of hopium. Which exchange sells hopium? That might be more of like maybe more like a Walmart thing. I don't know. Look at Kenya coin. Hold on. Let me quick shout out to this. This is my favorite thing on the planet. I'm gonna call some out right now. Kenya coin. So where's this dude? Let's see if we can pull him up. AP. This dude. Where's Kenya coin? Kenya ICO. The funniest thing in crypto right now is this Candy Coin raised $12 million in Ethereum. They did an ICO, an ERC20 ICO. We pop down here. I guess the video's gone, but the team, their CEO right here, CEO and co-founder of Candy Coin, is now a Bitcoin maximalist and constantly shits on Ethereum. And like the Bitcoin maximalist group, they love to retweet him. I don't know why. They haven't looked at his backstory, but I'm all for Bitcoin maximalism. I can't even pronounce it. I'm all for Bitcoin maximalism right now, 100%. I am all in on Bitcoin maximalism. If that's you, if you are an OG, you don't even have to be. You could just say, I like sound money. This is the best thing out there. But saying you are a Bitcoin maximalist and, kind of shitting on Ethereum when you raise $12 million through Ethereum from an ICO is the most hypocritical bullshit on planet Earth. And I'll happily say that's ridiculous. Like, if you're all in on Bitcoin, be all in on Bitcoin, but being like, yo, I just raised $12 million in my ICO, we couldn't build anything and it went to shit, now I'm a Bitcoiner, like, that's a bullshit rebrand. Richard Holtzman, would I recommend a 100% short on BitMEX right now? Go for it, buddy. Go for it. So, Gar, this is a good point too as well. The single biggest risk factor for legitimate crypto is the dodgy nature of exchanges fighting for market dominance. I think that's a good point. However, you are starting to see more legitimate products rolling out, and you're starting to see increased utilization of those more legitimate products rolling out as well. So whether that is continued adoption around the CME futures, whether that is Fidelity rolling out its products in the near term, whether that's backed, whether that is Gemini and Coinbase and those types of companies getting numerous certifications, getting registered with a variety of local regulators, whatever it might be. There's always going to be dodgy, at least for the time being. I think there's always going to be dodgy cryptocurrency exchanges. They can provide, they can wreak a little bit of havoc, I think, on the market itself. But I do think that the industry is trending more towards legitimization. Whether or not you like that, it remains to be seen. Marcus, I do not currently have any Cardano. My three biggest holdings right now are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tether. Excuse me, not Tether. Not Tether. Tezos. Excuse me, Tezos. Which is getting smoked against Bitcoin today. But my Tezos bags, hopefully they'll rebound at some point in time. But yeah, my three biggest holdings are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tezos. So Justin Sun arrested. If you guys have not seen this website, it is one of the more enjoyable, the funniest websites I think in the cryptocurrency space. It's basically the Onion for crypto, and this was really funny. So it's all spoofs and jokes, and so don't shit your pants that it's making fun of one of your bags. But like a month ago, Tom Lee in protective custody after another missed call. Charles Hoskinson checks into rehab for narcissistic personality disorder. Dan Larimer receives Guinness World Record for most crypto exit scams. The Block creates a $120,000 a year paywall. And Justin Sun's Tesla giveaway accidentally goes the way it was supposed to go. And I'll pull over to the recent one. Justin Sun arrested, illegal Tron gambling network shut down. But this is my favorite part. The favorite part of this entire article here. The only thing better than Justin Sun is a bigger Justin Sun with an airbrushed hairline. Justin Sun moments before the arrest. Photo courtesy of Consensus 2019. My favorite thing ever. Oh, fake it till you make it. Tron was an IQ test. all Tron owners banned for life from a hat. Oh shit. I can't. It's too good. Yeah, we keep going up in this direction. We're gonna, John McAfee might not actually have to eat his own penis. It'd be pretty crazy, but I want it to be like $1 short, just who's got to do it. Why have I not seen this beautiful website yet? It's fantastic. Again, just what is it? CoinJazeera.news. It's one of the funniest, most self-aware websites about crypto out there. It's freaking hilarious. It's awesome. Ian Mullen, thanks so much for that super chat, man. I really appreciate that, brother. And so, DL, you can't make deposits or withdrawals on Binance, yet the price is booming. Is this a way for Binance to recover the 40 mil that they lost? I have no idea. I mean, there's all types of theories about the Binance hack. There is a lot of discussion about it. Until somebody actually provides some level of like real cold hard facts, I would take everything as a kind of conspiracy theory. There's a lot of people that love conspiracy theories in the crypto world. Like there are a bunch of dudes that literally just like talk about bullshit conspiracy theories and just throw them out on a continuous basis. I'm not really in the business of speculating on conspiracy theories, so I don't know how that will, I don't know exactly what the deal with Binance's hack was. All I know is that the market has moved pretty substantially since it was hacked. And I would expect some potential fireworks when withdrawals and deposits are re-enabled on Binance. Not necessarily with Bitcoin. I would say more altcoins. At least when I look at Binance, I see Binance as the price setter for altcoins. I don't see Binance as typically setting the price for something like Bitcoin. I think, I look at a place like BitMEX for that. I look at a number of other exchanges for that rather than altcoins. Although we can take a look to the data might not be ideal right now, and also you have to wade through all the shit on so I mean, when I look at what happens with the price of Bitcoin and Ether, I think a lot of that is led by BitMEX. I mean, ZBG is whatever, BitMEX is like this all transaction mining bullshit, so I wouldn't look at those. But I think in much of the case, when you look at Binance, a lot of it is right now it's being led by Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it's definitely like the place to go for a lot of the altcoin liquidity out there. Let's take a look at the actual, like BitMEX dwarfs everything else in terms of trading on Bitcoin. But for a lot of the other altcoins, like they're not nearly as liquid anywhere else as they are on Binance. So it will be really interesting when people can actually deposit money again into Binance if they want to perhaps buy shitcoins. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I don't necessarily anticipate that being a negative for altcoins, perhaps. And maybe this is just being simplistic in some respects, but I think that if somebody wanted to sell their altcoins, they can sell their altcoins into BTC. They can sell that BTC into a stablecoin if they wanted, but they could sell their altcoins. Withdrawing altcoins from Binance is probably actually a good thing because it means people are probably holding them on cold storage more so than anything else. So I got asked this question the other day recently. Crikey, is it still okay to trade on Coinbase Pro, or are the fees a disincentive now? So Coinbase, see if we can pull these up. Coinbase Pro changed their fees recently. No, I think that's not correct. Here we go. So Coinbase Pro changed their fees recently. They're still pretty damn good. To trade crypto, you get 0.25 taker fee, 0.15 maker fee. There are a few places where you can buy crypto without any fees. Like you buy Bitcoin specifically without fees on the Square Cash App if you'd like, if that's available in your jurisdiction. The one thing to consider with that, however, though, is that when you are buying there, if you look at Square's Bitcoin fees, they do potentially make money on the spread. So if you see here, if we pull up the Square Bitcoin fees, you could see that the Cash App charges no fees when you buy or sell Bitcoin. However, there may be an exchange rate based on the size of your transaction and a spread due to that. So I would try to check in real time, if you can, what the price is on Square versus what the price is on Coinbase or Gemini, wherever it might be. Gemini has higher fees for retail size traders. However, if you actually use the API, the fees are much lower. But one thing you do want to consider if you're looking at something like Cash App is the spread. Is that worse than having a fee, or is that fine? And so that's an interesting comment that was just brought up. NDYC says, I just dumped my alts for Bitcoin. Better late than never, with a not happy face. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments on that. What was your allocation recently? Where, prior to this Bitcoin move, were you primarily in Bitcoin? Were you in other cryptocurrencies? And I'm alive, I think. So, getting back to that question before I died, were you primarily in Bitcoin, or have you kind of capitulated on your alts back into Bitcoin over time? Would love to hear about your allocations. If I can stop dying for a second, I'll read these. All right, we're back. So Keanu, look at this stud. 100% Bitcoin prior to the move, starting to average into alts. I mean, in an ideal world, that's probably the best move. I think is that right now is a decent time to average into altcoins with a stop loss. If Bitcoin continues to run and alts just continue to eat shit, set a stop loss. Be smart about it. But I do think that if you were 100% in Bitcoin prior to this, or right now still, that's one hell of a move. So Keanu, shout out to you, brother. Builder, hi. What do you think of Tron TRX? Anybody want to help me out with that? I'm a big fan. So personally, I'm a big fan of copy paste. I am a big fan of fake it till you make it. I'm a big fan of marketing and hype and Teslas. So due to that, I'm a big fan of Tron. And by that, I am kidding. I don't like Tron. I have shorted Tron before. I closed my Tron short too early, unfortunately. That was a shitty move, but hey, whatever. But yeah, that's I'm not a big Tron fan. I think that yes, Tron has a ton of money in the bank, and yes, they are like a platinum sponsor of Consensus right now, and Tron has enough money right now. If we're being honest, Tron has enough money that they can basically buy their way into almost anything. They did very well in the bull market and with the money that they raised. I have heard that Brent Horton, Bobby, you suck. Brent, you suck more. I've heard that they have like over $1 billion in their treasury from people or around that. So I mean, if you could think about that, you can do quite a bit with that money. And I would expect, I think Justin, to his credit, is one of the best marketers in the cryptocurrency space. I also think that from every single technical analyst, or not technical analyst like charts analyst, but like software engineer developer that's looked at the Tron code, dog shit. Tron is the only coin with usable dApps in progress. That's a load of horse shit. That is the biggest load of horse shit ever. A bunch of gambling apps, bro. I'm here to shit on your altcoins. If you want to ask me, that's fine. I'm here to tell you that mine are the best. No, I'm kidding. MakerDAO. I'm a fan of MakerDAO. I'm a fan of Maker and Dai. I think Maker is building some of the coolest things in the industry. If we pop up the Maker to BTC on Bitfinex, Maker's dumped real hard against Bitcoin. It's had some issues with the stability fee and some of the things that have kind of gone on with Dai losing its peg. But I think Maker's building some really interesting stuff, and I think once the multi-collateral once the multi-collateral CDPs, the Mickey D's, once those multi-collateral CDPs get released, it will be really interesting to watch how things develop with Maker. But against the Bitcoin trading pair, it hasn't done too well really since peaking in early April. It's fallen off a cliff. I don't necessarily have any right now, or I have like a very, very small portion of it, but I'm a big fan of Maker. Genesis Plot. I don't know if you guys are just kidding or not. I think some of you are, some of you are not. Bobby, am I longing XRP? Does Bobby believe in XRP? I do not believe in XRP. I do not believe in XRP at all. You can I know some people that work at Ripple. They're nice people. They're great people. I do not think that look at the Ripple chart or the XRP chart from when JP Morgan coin was announced. I know it probably triggers some people and probably get some people mad, but I think JP Morgan coin is directly competitive with XRP, and I do think that they are probably even better positioned to accomplish some of the things that XRP is trying to, or Ripple is trying to do. And if you are looking purely at from a speculative value, where we're talking about XRP in general, the one thing, and I'm always curious about this, like if you are a big XRP guy, that's fine. I'm not gonna say anything bad. But if you are a big XRP guy, what do you see? Ripple Q1 report. This is something that came out. It was a few weeks ago, but this is really interesting because if we look at Q1 2019, I personally view this as a fancy way of Ripple saying they're dumping on your heads. That's my interpretation of this. You can certainly say you can take different aspects of it, but when I look at the XRP markets report, Ripple primarily funds their business by selling XRP to exchanges and to institutional customers. They sold $169 million of XRP in Q1 of 2019. In my mind, that's $170 million of sell pressure. That is, in my mind, that's inflationary. And I got in some arguments with people on Twitter about, hey, is this inflationary? Is this not inflationary? I kind of view it as, an inflationary thing. Yes, it's kind of done on a schedule, but when you look at it, it just doesn't sit right with me. If I were an XRP holder, I would not the fact that XRP holders defend this is interesting to me, because I just see that this is hurting you more than it's helping you. If you are looking at XRP as something to increase in value, I don't think that Ripple Inc. selling $170 million of XRP in a quarter is going to be something that ends up helping you out. And I think when you look at the chart for Ripple, it certainly appears that way. The proof is in the partnerships. So that is I would say a false statement. Partnerships in crypto, you can have as many partnership announcements as you want in the cryptocurrency space. And I think, yes, to a certain extent, it's good to see that XRP, it's good to see partnerships for companies maybe utilizing whatever XRapid or, Ripple, or utilizing XRP in some stance. But when I think about partnerships, you really need to execute on those partnerships. Do they deliver anything, or is it just a marketing announcement that is kind of a shot in the dark or a prayer that you hope is going to work out? That's the important thing. Is it actually delivering value to the company? Is it delivering value to the token if you want the token to appreciate in value? If you don't care, that's fine. But is it delivering value to the company, to the individuals, to the token itself? And I think in many cases, the partnerships in the cryptocurrency space, if somebody's specifically talking about Ripple with this, then I don't know. It doesn't always deliver value. It's a lot of times it's more of a marketing fluff piece. And folks, at this point in time, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, helps get this video out to as many people as possible. ZK Snarks, you moronic fuckwit. Thanks, buddy. It's always good to have nice, encouraging commentary on the YouTube chat. I always appreciate that. It's fantastic to hear from loyal fans. I hope you have a wonderful evening. But outside of that, yeah, I am going to go get dinner. I'm gonna, I don't know, get something nice, maybe get a nice dinner. But outside of that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll definitely be hitting content as much as possible this week. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.